Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just find a nice comfy position to sit in, either on a cushion or on a towel, something that will help you to lengthen the spine and back of the neck, opening up your chest and opening up your diaphragm. And with that, those open, it leads to opening up your heart. And I mean that figuratively and literally. So gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. Just relax. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale, and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is yoga. So quite a while ago now, a friend was experiencing a lot of mysterious illnesses. And she went through a series of tests and x-rays and even several medications. And nothing seemed to help. Then the doctor suggested for her to try yoga. And she relayed this story to me. And my thought immediately was, I wonder what that doctor meant by that, what yoga, which yoga, what part of yoga. It was like the doctor just wasn't very specific. And as I dive deeper into the world of yoga, I realize what a vast subject it is. There are 6 schools of yoga, and that's kind of a broad bunch of schools. There's probably even more than this, but this is what I've come across to me. First one, or not the first one, but a one is Raja, which is meditation. Jnana, which is studies, yoga studies. Tantra, which is about non-dualism. Bhakti, which is about devotional. There's actual different things that each one of these focuses on. There's one called Karma, and that focuses on selfless service. Practitioners of that would be, example, Mother Teresa, the Dalai Lama, Gandhi. And the last one is Hatha, which is about force. So Raja and Hatha are the schools that we are most familiar with. The Raja is the school of yoga that is most closely associated with Patanjali's 8 limbs of yoga, which is what I like to focus on in our classes here. The Hatha means Ha, sun, and Ta, moon. And so it's balancing the energies of hot, the sun, and coolness or cold, the moon, within us. And it's done that. It's a very physical way of doing that. And this school, this Hatha school, has many styles or classes, and that you may have heard of, like a Vinyasa class. Vinyasa class is a type of Hatha under the school of Hatha. A Yin class is one of those styles. Kundilini is a style. Ashtanga is a style. Iyengar is a style. Bikram, which is no longer called Bikram, it's now called Hot Yoga, is one of those styles. And then there's actually a style called Hatha under Hatha, and that's the one we usually do here. The Vinyasa is a very kind of fast flow. It's not, there's also another style called power yoga. It's kind of below power yoga, but it's a very flowing thing. And the Hatha that we do is kind of a flowing thing, but liking to hold the poses a little bit longer, but not as long as what you do in a yin yoga, which is typically like a 3 to 5 minute hold. So it's kind of between a lot of different things. And it's yoga's sister science is Ayurveda, and that's the science of self. And they're both sciences of self. So we all have personal journeys that have led us to and keeps us returning to our mat. Initially, we may not have intended to cure anything, like my friend who was told to take yoga to cure something, but maybe it has cured something or helped us along the way. And I can attest to that. So that's kind of a prelude, because in September, starting next week, September is National Yoga Month. And what I'm thinking of doing, or planning on doing, is doing different types of yoga. First one I'm going to do is chair yoga. I haven't done that class in a long time. And I honestly thought that that's what I was going to be teaching when I got to my advanced age that I am. And forget that, that's blown out of the water, and all you people have validated that, that we continue on and on, maybe till we're 90, then we'll do chair yoga. But I'm going to do a chair yoga class because it's useful for a lot of different things. And a Vinyasa, and probably a yin yoga, and maybe see what else what other styles of yoga I can throw in there. So that's coming up in September. So right now, for our pranayama, our breathing technique, the Ujjayi breath, talk about that a lot. It's also known as ocean breath because of the sound it makes, or 3-part breath because it encourages you to have a full breath. Ujjayi is Sanskrit for victorious, or kind of, well, it is Sanskrit for victorious. So I called this Ujjayi breath the soundtrack of your practice, because when you're making that sound, that ocean sound that the Ujjayi breath does, it helps you tune in to what you're feeling, your internal breathing breathing, I'm not going well with this one, but basically how you're breathing. So if you're breathing a little too shallow, maybe you would need to back off on the pose. The goal is to have a nice even flow, and you can do that by if you're tuning in and hearing how your flow is going. So we're going to do that when we start our asana practice. So before that, getting into meditation, that's that Raja piece of school that Patanjali focused on. Meditation being the goal of the 8 limbs of yoga, We work from yamas and niyamas to the asanas and on up through, and then the meditation. And then the last limb, the eighth limb, is actually trying to obtain enlightenment. So I don't expect us to do that in just a matter of minutes in our meditation. But if you can just kind of breathe so that you are relaxed and kind of focused within, that's all I ask of you for this piece of it. So let's do that. I'll go to the mat. We'll just take a few minutes to meditate. Maybe you'll reach enlightenment and bliss in a matter of minutes. That would be wonderful. And let's start. Rambling this morning, sorry about that. So you can relax in meditation. I mentioned a few weeks ago this gentleman, Light Watkins, who has a system called EASY, and it's an acronym for what is it? Eliminate, awareness, surrender, yield. And so that's kind of just what you're trying to do. You're just kind of yielding to the moment and relaxing, having awareness. You may open your eyes now, and we'll start with some sun breaths and using the Ujjayi breath. So that's the breath that kind of emanates from the back of your throat, and it's kind of a nasally sound. If you think of Darth Vader's sound, or if you're trying to see your breath on a mirror when it's cold out, that's the kind of sound that we're looking for. So let's bring our fingertips to the mat, and then inhale using our Ujjayi breath, and then exhaling. That Darth Vader inhale, and then clouding up a mirror exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, and exhale. And the other thing that this sound does, it kind of stills your mind. Because while you're listening to your breath, you're not hearing the inner chit chat that goes on in your head. And one last exhale. And then we'll take that same breath and just listening to your breath, see how it does kind of block out every other thought and sound. It stills your mind really nicely. We'll do some sun twists with that too. So inhale, bringing our arms up overhead, and then we're going to twist our torso to the left, and then bring our hands back down. Right hand on our left kneecap, left hand right behind our hip, and then inhale, sweeping up. Twisting our torso over to the right, bringing our hands down. On the exhale, left hand on the right knee, right hand right behind our hips, nice straight back. Inhale, sweeping up. And then exhale, coming back down. Inhale up. Twist to the right, exhale, come back down. Inhale, up. Twist to the left. Exhale, come back down. One last time, inhale up. Exhale, twisting to the right. And then come back to our neutral spine. Back to the front. And we'll do a few side stretches. So we're going to bring our right fingertips to the mat. Lift our left arm up so the arm is alongside our left ear. And then we'll bend our right elbow and bend our torso in a crescent shape over to the right. Listen to that Ujjayi breath and how it changes for this pose. And then come back up. And now we're going to do the same side 2 more times. So inhale, lifting our left arm up, bending our right elbow toward the mat, curving our torso to the right. Inhale back up. And then one last time, left arm goes up. Listen to your Ujjayi breath, bending your elbow to the right. Inhale, come back up. And bring your left hand down. We're going to extend our right leg out in front, a little bit to the diagonal. And we'll do some seated revolved head to toe, or head to knee rather. So we're going to bring the back of our right hand to the inner part of our right knee. Bring our left arm up alongside our ear. And then we'll slide our right hand down toward our foot. And again, curve our body and listening to our Ujjayi breath. Will probably even be more shallow than our last pose. And you just back off until you find that nice sweet spot where your breath is nice and flowing nicely. And then bring our torso back up. And then we'll do that 2 more times. So left arm comes up, right hand slides down toward our foot. And then inhale, come back up. And then one last time. Left arm goes up toward your ear. And then back to central. And then we're going to lift our left knee up toward the sky. Wrap our right arm around it and twist our torso to the left, bringing our left hand right behind our hips. And then come back to center. And we'll do that on the other side. So if you switch legs, left foot is out in front of your right leg. And we'll start with side stretches. So our left tips of our fingers are on the mat. Right arm goes up right next to your ear. And then you bend your left elbow toward the mat, tipping your torso over to the left. And then inhale, come back up. And we'll do that 2 more times. So lifting our right arm up, bending our left elbow toward the mat. And then come back up. Listening to our Ujjayi breath. One last time. Right arm goes up, left elbow goes toward the mat. And curve to the left. And then back up. Extend our left leg out on a diagonal. Bring our left back of our hand to the inner knee. Bring our right arm up. And then we slide our left hand toward our foot. And bending over. Again, listening to your Ujjayi breath. And then come back up. We'll do 2 more of those. So inhale, lifting the arm up, sliding the left hand toward the foot. And then coming back up. And one last time. Slide your left hand toward your foot. And come back up. And we'll lift our right knee up toward the sky. Wrap our left arm around it. Bring our right fingertips to the back of our hips and twist to the right. All right, and then come back to center. We're going to come up onto our hands and knees into tabletop. Our wrists are right below our shoulders, knees right below our hips. Fingers are spread open, pushing gently down into the mat so that you create that space between your shoulders and your ears. We're going to start our cat-cows. So rounding our back, exhaling, bringing our head and tailbone down. And then lifting our head and tailbone up for cow. Exhale, rounding the back, head and tail go down for cat. Nice big stretches. Inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up for cow. And then continue at your own pace, really tuning in again to that Ujjayi breath. See how it stills your mind in this pose. It's really a pleasant thing to do. Just kind of keep moving in a nice flow. And then come back to a neutral spine. I'm going to kickstand our left foot outside of the mat and extend our right foot all the way down. Our left wrist is right below our left shoulder. And then we're going to sweep our right hand all the way up to the sky. So this is modified side plank. And then we're going to lift our hand up and bring it to our right knee and sweep our left hand up and curve it over to the right. And this is gate pose. So we're going to go back down into modified plank. And then inhale, come up into gate pose. And then back down to modified plank. And one last time up to gate pose. And then come back down, we'll come back to tabletop, and then we'll switch sides. So we're gonna kickstand our right foot out beyond the mat, send our left foot down to the bottom of the mat. Right wrist is right below the right shoulder. Sweep our left hand up to the sky for modified plank, and then lift up, bringing our left hand to our left knee, sending our right arm up and over for gate pose, and then back down, back to modified side plank, and then up again, left hand to left knee, right arm up and over to gate pose. And one time, last time, we'll send that hand down, and then back up again to gate pose. And then bringing it back down to tabletop. Coming into tabletop, we're going to tuck our toes underneath and walk our hands back, coming into squat. And then pushing down into our feet to come up into mountain. We'll go through the mountain pose and the essentials of good posture. Our big toes pointed toward the straight edge of the mat. We'll lift our toes up off the mat, spread them as far apart as we can, bringing them back down to the mat, lifting our heels off the mat, and bringing our heels back down to really connect with our mat and really ground ourselves in our practice today. Our legs are nice and straight and strong, gentle bend in our knees, navels tucked to our spine, elongating our back of our spine and back of our neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chins ever so slightly pushed back toward our chest, creating a nice flat crown. And then what we're going to do is sweep our hands up, big inhale, and then exhale, bringing our hands down to the mat, bending our knees as we go to support our lower back. Just check in here. If you feel any tension today, send those nourishing Ujjayi breaths to any tension you may feel. See if it can loosen it up a little bit. And then bring our hands to our shins, mid-shin, flatten out our back, kind of pulling our elbows in toward our thighs, really straightening out that spine. And then dropping the crown of our head toward the mat. We'll just let gravity take over for a moment here. And breathe in and out. And then sweeping your hands all the way up overhead, coming up onto our tippy toes. We'll do a few sun breaths here, rising up on our toes, and then bringing our hands down. We're going to lower our heels to the mat. Then sweep up again, coming up onto our tippy toes. Big inhale. Big exhale. As we lower our hands and lower our heels back down to the mat. And one last time, inhale, sweeping our hands up. And exhale, bringing our hands and heels back down. And then we'll do one more. Inhale up. And then we'll exhale, bringing our hands to the mat. Bring it all the way down, bending our knees, support our lower back. And then inhale, bringing your hands to your shins, flattening out your back, and slide your hands from the shins up to the thighs, tucking your elbows in toward you. And you really feel that nice stretch of your straightening of your spine. And then bring your hands and the crown of your head down toward the mat. And inhale, sweeping our hands up and overhead, bringing the palms of our hands together, palms to our heart center. We're going to we're going to plant our left foot into the mat, keep it planted, and then lift our right leg up. And then we're going to interlace our fingers and wrap it around our knee and bring our knee toward our chest. So kind of a knee to chest move. Try to create some stable balance here for yourself. And then with your right hand on your knee, lift your left hand into a goalpost. And then open your right knee to the right. Bring that back down. Now we'll do that on the other side. We're going to lift our left knee up and feel that your hips are kind of straight, not cockeyed on the mat, kind of parallel with the mat and the floor. And then we're going to interlace our fingers, wrap them around our knee, bringing our knee to our chest. And then bring our right arm into a goalpost. And then open up our left leg to the left. And bring it back down. Deep inhale, sweeping our hands up overhead. And then exhale, bringing our hands back down to the mat. Inhale, half forward fold, bringing your hands to your shins, flattening out your back. Exhale, bringing the crown of your head down toward the mat. Then inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. We're going to do tree pose. So any version of tree pose that you like, you can lift your leg like we just did and lift it out to the side and try to bring it to your thigh. Or you can have toes on the mat, ankle, heel on the ankle, or your sole of your foot on your inner calf. Any of those that works for you. And remember the foundation of mountain pose. Strong leg, soft knee. Navel's tucked to your spine. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. And with this, you need at least I do, a focal spot that's still. Madrishti. All right, we're going to release that. We'll do that on the other side. So planting your right foot nice on your mat. You lift your left leg up. I'm full of wobblies this morning. Let me try a different spot on the floor. Lift your left leg up. And you can bring it to your upper thigh. Or if you prefer, toes and ankle, or sole to shin, or calf, or the other one. principles of mountain pose, but applying them to tree pose. Nice Ujjayi breath will still your mind. It's a very calming pose. And bring your leg down. And then one last time, we'll inhale, sweep our hands up. And exhale, bring them back down to the mat, bending our knees. Inhale, hands to shins, flattening out our back for half forward fold. Dropping the crown of our head toward the mat. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. And then palms come to the back of your hips. Feet are about hip width apart. Shoulders relaxed, roll back, chins tucked to our chest, and we'll just do a supported back bend. So just ease your shoulders back. Listen for your Ujjayi breath. And then come back up. Well done, everyone. We'll move along. Great. So sweeping our hands up overhead. And then exhale, bringing our hands to the mat. We'll bring our feet back into downward dog. So our fingers are splayed apart, index fingers reaching toward the top of the mat. Arms are nice and straight. Even with these, you have a gentle bend in your elbows. Your legs are nice and straight and strong, but with a bend in your knee, or you could be pedaling. My preferred way of doing downward dog. Chest is reaching toward the thigh, which will send your hips up toward the sky. And just pedal out for a moment. And then we're going to bring our left knee to our left elbow. So inhale, left knee comes to the left elbow, pushing off with the right toes. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. And then again, left knee to left elbow, pushing off with your right toes. And then back to downward dog. Great for your core. And the last one, we're going to bring our left foot between our hands. So inhale, bringing your left foot all the way up between your hands, coming into runner's lunge. And then we're going to pivot our back foot down and push down into our left foot, coming up into warrior one. So our front leg is knees over the ankle in lunge position. Our back foot, the outer edge is nice and snug in the mat. Our torso could be turned toward the right corner of the mat, or if you feel comfortable, you can actually twist it so that it's facing the front of the mat. And if that's preferred for you, and you may want to move your back foot out to kind of a railroad track setup, that might feel a little better. Create a nice little bend in our back for warrior one, and then bring both hands back down to the mat. Send our left foot to join our right foot and come into plank. Wrists are right below our shoulders. Heels are pushing to the back of the mat. Navel's tucked to your spine, elevating your hips slightly. And then we're going to lower to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, keeping your elbows tucked to your side. And then we're going to lift our hands off the mat, lifting our chest and chin up for baby cobra. Bring our hands back down to the mat, and then gently lift your chin, chest, and gently push into your hands, coming up into cobra. Elbows are tucked toward your sides. And then keep pushing up to tabletop and then down to child's pose with your arms extended. Checking in on your Ujjayi breath here. Just relax here until you get a nice even flow. And then we'll come back up to tabletop. Tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment. And we're gonna bring our left knee to our left elbow again. So pushing off the right toes, left knee to the left elbow, and back again. Pedal out a few moments. And then left knee to left elbow. And then pedal out, back to downward dog, pedal out. And then we're gonna bring our left foot up between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. So inhale, lifting our left foot up, planting it between our hands, coming into runner's lunge. And we're gonna pivot our back foot down again. This time we're gonna bring our hands up and over into warrior two. So we still have that same lunge position where you can see your big toe over your knee. Other foot, the edge of your foot's at a 45-degree angle-ish, 40-ish, 45-degree-ish, with the side of your foot kind of snug in the mat. Arms are at shoulder height, that opening and stretching. And then gently turn your head to look at your left fingertips. Check in on your Ujjayi breath. And then reverse warrior or peaceful warrior, lifting your left hand up to the sky, following it with your eyes. Right hand comes down to your hip, or your thigh rather. And then bringing our left hand down, so our left forearm rests on our left thigh. Sweeping our right hand up for extended side angle. And then bringing our right hand and left hand back down, pivoting our foot so that we come back to runner's lunge. And then bring our left foot back to our right foot, coming into plank pose. And then lowering to the mat, either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Bringing our hands and arms alongside of us with our chin on the mat. I'm gonna do a half locust and then a full locust. So with our hips parallel to the mat and perhaps touching the mat, we're gonna lift our right leg up, not turning our bodies down there, just kind of lifting the left or the right leg up. And then bringing that back down, lifting the left leg up, and bringing that back down. And then lifting both legs and both arms up, and then bringing those back down. Bring your fingertips right below your shoulders, and then lifting your chin, and then chest, and then gently pushing in, come into cobra. And then pushing up to tabletop and down to child's pose. And then back to tabletop. We'll tuck our toes under, come up into downward dog. And as you pedal here, you're gonna move your feet toward your hands. So you're just kind of slowly walking your feet in a pedaling sort of way up to your hands. Coming into forward fold. And then sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together and palms come to heart center. And we'll do that on the other side. So sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Exhale, bring our hands down to the mat. Bending our knees as we go. We're gonna send both feet out, back of us to downward dog. Pedal out here for a moment. And then we're gonna bring our right knee to our right elbow, pushing off with the left toes. And then back again, pedal out. Right knee comes again to our right elbow, pushing off with our left toes. And then back to downward dog, pedal out. And then bring your right foot between your hands, coming into runner's lunge. So inhale, bring your right foot up. Pivoting your back foot down. You're gonna push down into our right foot, coming up to warrior one. So lifting your arms up overhead, creating a nice gentle curve in your back. And your chest can be facing toward the left corner of the mat. Or if you'd like to twist a little bit to the right, have it face toward the top of the mat. And then bring your hands back down. We'll bring our right foot to the back to meet our left foot, coming into plank pose. Navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips, and then lowering down, either chaturanga or knees, chest, chin. We're gonna lift our hands off the mat, lifting our chin and chest up for baby cobra. And then the hands go back down on the mat and lifting our chin, chest, and gently pushing into our hands, coming into cobra. And then keep pushing up to tabletop and then lowering our hips to child's pose. Take a few Ujjayi breaths here. And come back up to tabletop. Tuck your toes under and we'll come back up into downward dog. And pedal out here for a moment. And then right knee to right elbow. And then back again, pedal out. Right knee to right elbow. And then pedal out. And then right foot up between the hands, coming into runner's lunge. We'll pivot our back foot down and sweep our hands up and come into warrior two. Front knees over our ankle. Back foot's nice and snug in the mat. Arms are at shoulder height, and gently turn your head to the right. And then lower the left hand, raising the right hand to peaceful warrior. And then lowering the right forearm to the right thigh. Bringing our left hand up to the sky. Extended side angle. Opening up your chest here, opening up your heart. And then bring your left hand back down to the mat. We'll pivot. We'll bring our right foot to join our left foot, coming into plank pose. And then lowering down, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. With our arms alongside of us, we'll lift our right leg up first for half locust, bringing that down, and then lifting our left leg up, bringing that back down, and then lift both legs and arms up, bringing those back down. Bring your fingertips right below your shoulders, elbows tucked in, lifting your chin and chest, pushing down your hands, coming into cobra. And then pushing up to tabletop and sending your hips down to child's pose. And then coming back up to tabletop, we'll tuck our toes under, lifting our hips up to downward dog, and pedal out here. And as you pedal, just slowly walk your feet up to your hands. Coming into a forward fold. And sweeping your hands all the way up overhead. Hands come together. Hands come to heart center. And then we'll bring our pinky toes out to the edges of the mat. Heels are tucked in 45 degrees. And then we'll lower our torso down toward the mat. Hips come down toward the mat. Torso comes between our legs. Our elbows are resting on the inside of our knees. And gently send your Anjali Mudra, your prayer hands, down toward the mat. Give yourself a little stretch. And then we'll bring our hips down to the mat, seated on the mat, coming into staff pose. Our legs are nice and straight with a gentle bend. Our feet are flexed with our toes pointing up to the sky. Back is nice and straight. If a little bit of a towel or cushion helps you to feel that L shape that we're trying to get with staff pose, you're welcome to use that. You can use your fists to push down into the mat, lifting up your hip bones and then setting them back down. Really get nice and snug into this pose. What we're trying to retain here is our nice straight back. We're going to lift our knees up toward the sky, tucking our hands under the knee crease. And then we're going to do that with that there. We're going to lift our legs so that our shins are parallel to the mat. Our back again is nice and straight. So then we're going to do some toe taps, work on our core here. So bring your right toe down and back up. Bring the left toe down and back up. And then bring both toes down and back up. So you can continue doing that with your hands tucked under the crease of your knees. And maintain that nice straight spine. Left toes down, both toes come down, then back up. And if you want to let go and continue, that's your choice as well. The right toe down, left toe down, both toes down. And just continue on. Focusing on your breath. Oops, got both feet. And one last time, right toe comes down, left toe comes down, and both toes come down. So then if you want to keep your hands wrapped underneath the crease of your knees, we'll just roll back and do knees to chest and rock back and forth. Give our lower back a nice massage. And then bring your arms out at shoulder height. And on the exhale, lower your knees to the right side. Recline, spinal twist. And slowly send your gaze over to your left fingertips. And then slowly turn your head back to center. Lift your knees back to center. And then lower your knees to the left. And then gently turn your head to look at your right fingertips. And slowly turn your head back to center. And then lift your legs back to center. And send them down to the bottom of the mat to prepare for Shavasana. Heels going into each corner, letting your feet just flop open. And then work from your feet on up, relaxing your ankles, relaxing your knees, relaxing around your hips. Arms are alongside at an angle, palms facing up. Getting those shoulder blades nice and snug into the mat, and then relaxing. Relaxing your shoulders and the muscles in your face. Big inhale, and then with a big exhale, you can either do it through your nose or exhale through your mouth. Just really release and soak down into the mat. This morning's poem is by Danna Faulds, and it's titled Yoga. Yoga is not about the pose. It's not the alignment of toes or hips or shoulders. It's not about the form. Yoga is an invitation to explore, not a command performance. It speaks the language of the soul. In the flow of breath and motion, yoga coaxes us from the confines of the known, across the silent threshold into vastness. Yoga is the union of prayer and movement, guided from inside. It is healing and the joy of saying yes to life. Breathe, relax, and feel the body receive its own truth. The seed of freedom flowers within each of us whenever we are open to what's real.